here in a minute. And then I'll just talk until we get the live message, which we just did. We are
Got it.
live. Live here with Selwyn Jones. Coming up with the Selwyn Jones and the 929 podcast. We're doing, but we had to jump on today to talk about the year anniversary, if we want to call it anniversary or whatever we want to call it. I'm D. I'm producer of the show. I'm here with Selwyn. Selwyn, good morning.
The anniversary is what you said?
I don't know what to call it, man. I hate to call things with a tragedy an anniversary in some ways. I know that some people call it a traumaversary or some kind of a tragiversary, but I don't know. I never know what to call things when they're so tragic a year later, right?
I call it the day that George Floyd changed the world. Because as of May the 25th of last year, most of the people found out on May the 26th who it was. Everything changed, between coronavirus and the death of my nephew. There's a lot of people that were enlightened about how black people or how people of color got treated. And for the first time, from start to finish, you saw the most heinous act you've ever seen. And guess what? It affected the whole world. And guess what? It made change. So change is going to come. And I want you to smile some, because if I was with some handsome looking fellow like myself, I'd be doing a little smiling.
I'm always smiling when I'm talking to you. That's
for
sure.
You say that, but I know you're in your mind, you're thinking, what is that fool going to say next? What is he going to say next? Well, hey, man, all I want to say is we've lived through the trauma. We've lived through the drama. Chauvin will get sentenced. Now, what we have to do now is move ahead and make change and see what kind of positive change we can make, because I know that it's coming. Change is going to come. I know this.
That's one of the things that I've been excited for as we've been prepping the show. I know that's a big focus for you, is what do we do with this now that it happened, right? I mean, that's a whole philosophy of life, is saying something's happened, now where do we go next? And you obviously bring a lot of that energy of trying to say, what can this mean, right?
What meaning can
we find?
What this means to me is right now, I'm going to put on my glasses for the year anniversary for just 1 second. Oh my God, everything is purple. What this means is conversation, communication, education, motivation, and let's don't try to pee people off really much. I mean, pee people off a lot, because we need to piggyback or jump or run or scream or whatever we have to do to make everybody relevant, to make everybody important, because Black lives matter, because obviously my life matter. White lives matter because your life matter. So it isn't about a black thing or a white thing. It's about a human thing. So let's all just rejoice and just know that George Perry Floyd affected the way the world thinks, the way the people think in the world from this day forward, a year ago, because man, it was tragic. Coronavirus had us sitting around our house getting fat and pretty, and we were waiting for something. And I hate that it had to be my nephew, obviously, but I'll take that. Because I speak his words of freedom and peace and equality and justice.
Where were you at when you heard?
I would love to say I was sitting at a pool drinking a margarita, but I wasn't. I was at my house first thing in the morning, eating my croissants, as I would say them. That's what I would call them, is my croissants every morning.
Big sponsor of the show, croissants. Yeah.
Croissants. I'm a husky guy. So, I got to get them 2 down every morning, keep this round figure going perfectly round. And I sat back and I'm looking at television. And because I come from the Jim Crow South, whenever I see a black man in any way, shape, or form getting disrespected, humiliated, tortured, harmed by anybody, it makes me stand up and go, wow. And I'm looking at this. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this dude's going to die. They're going to kill him. And my sister calls me at that particular moment and says, did you see what they did? And my whole world has changed. My whole world changed at that moment to the point of me just sitting back and just looking. And I was waiting for him to die just like everybody else. Because when you first laid your eyes on that, you not once thought that the black guy was going to leave this movie alive. And I just sat back, and everything in my life that's ever happened to me, bad, indifferent, or other, that had to do with race, it all stuck me right here. Therefore, I'm here with you today. And I've been through, I don't know, 36, 40 states in the last year, expressing justice and equality and communicating about just be free, just life, you know? And I wonder who and why were we made the punching bag for the world? Because honestly, I'm done with all the sadness, because we can't change anything in the past, but all we can do is make it better in the future, in the present. But why were we given the, why are we given that the power of us being the punching bag? Why did we have to be the slaves? Why did we have to do all these things and get tortured, humiliated, put in the back of the bus? I can't use the bathroom, the same bathroom you use, because maybe your butt will get black if you sit on the toilet that I sat on, seat that I sat on. I can't drink out of the same water fountain because I would contaminate the water and you'd be drinking black water. I want to know, why is everything black bad? The black duck, the black cake, the black witch. If somebody's talking smart about you, they're trying to blackmail you. What's wrong? So, so
goes well, and I think that's one of the things when you talk about the opportunity is that everybody got to see something that was, I think one of the things that was eye-opening for a lot of white Americans was how little this was a shock or a surprise to many black Americans. Does that make sense? Like a lot of white people that I know, they look at that and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. And then they maybe talk to someone they know who's a person of color who says,
this
really?
Been happening for
You're surprised?
400 years.
Yeah.
Think about it. That's 55 years ago, which, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday.
Right.
Oh,
day,
God.
right?
Happy birthday to me. Think about this. 55 years ago, I couldn't go into a restaurant to eat. So we, being black folks, had to negotiate every facet of life that we've had. Why do we get 30% more time when the sentence is given out? Why is if we got the same credit score, why do you get a better interest and we get a better interest? So, dog, as I tell everybody, police brutality is a small bit of this systemic racism and racism thing. There's so many different facets. And, and throughout the Selwyn Jones show, we're going to talk about good, positive situations, because out with the old and with the new, because we've had 1 year to sit and think why, how. Well, we know why, and we've seen how. Now we need to move ahead and let's make the future better, because one of these days somebody's going to say that's a handsome guy instead of a handsome black guy. They're going to say that's a handsome guy instead of a handsome white guy. Well, I only know there's one handsome fellow on this line right now, but that's
of course.
Oh,
we'll debate about it.
We'll debate about it. You know what I'm saying? It's such a life, my friend. I love his funky purple glasses. I'm seeing everything purple.
How have you found the reception now that people are talking about this? And that's the greatest thing. I love that you always use the word conversation, right? We use the word to have that. And when you're having this conversation across all this traveling and presentations that you've done, what are you finding? How are people responding to you?
First of all, people look at me like I'm crazier than hell. Crazier than heck. I'm sorry.
It's a good start.
I'm sorry for all you Christians. They look at me like I'm crazy because they're thinking, wow, he's a funny looking fellow with freckles. Well, I know. Tell me nothing I don't know. I'm getting a lot of good reception because people's eyes and ears and hearts are open. If you've seen the tragedy that we saw for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. We seen a man beg, scream, plead, try to negotiate, try to breathe. He tried to do everything he could to live, but yet he was not afforded that opportunity. And in the autopsy, he had rocks in his shoulder. He had rocks in his chin where he literally was breathing off about 3% of the air for that whole length of time. And his body just gave out. He could not get any more air in his body. And that's the reason why he died. He didn't die because he wanted to die. He died because his time ran out. And his time ran out because he had a guy on his legs, a guy on his back, and one on his neck. But, because that guy on his back, that guy on his legs, and that one on his neck, we have an opportunity to know that there is an opportunity for us to have a better way of life and a better respect than life, I would say, because all we're asking for is to be treated the way that everybody else is treated. If you don't shoot them, don't shoot us. If you don't sick a dog on them, don't sick a dog on us. If my credit score is 780, why can't I have that 1.2% interest loan instead of having a 3.2% interest loan? So, just a lot of things that we got to go through and we'll talk about. But one thing I want to do is I want to say thank you, everybody that has ever had our back. Thank you for those that have opened your eyes. Thank you for those that, if you're around a situation where people are being derogatory, hey, man, you really think that's what you need to be saying? And I just thank the world for the love and respect and caring that you've showed me and my family, because we had a lot on our shoulders. We've had a lot on our shoulders in the last year, and we've taken it. Some have taken it better than others. I'm not in Minneapolis. I'm not in the White House. I'm not in Chicago where I'm supposed to be. I thought I would spend the day with you, Chris, and just hang out and chill, because I am tired. I am tired.
Yeah.
I've been running. I've been averaging 3.5 to 5 hours sleep the last year. And on my birthday, Chris, guess what I did? I
Catch
slept
up
all day long. My baby had a little birthday party for me. I didn't eat the cake. They ate it. Well, they put it all over the place. And I just slept and relaxed and just reminisced about all the things that I had to go through. The racism in my little town because we had a Confederate flag. How my nephew died, how they tried to humiliate him and use his past and use his past against him, when it just boils down to this. $19.00 was worth George Perry Floyd's life, is what his life was worth. But you cannot put a price on the influence, enthusiasm, energy, and eye-opening that the death of George Perry Floyd meant to this world.
Yeah. It's so often that you see this like two sides of the same coin with the tragedy like that. You've got the tragic. I met a guy a few months ago who, the white man, told me he had been charged. He noticed on the news that he had actually had that charge once upon a time in his own life. And he said the difference between him and George Floyd's experience, as he put it, was he tells that story at parties. He's like, hey, can you believe I messed up on this check thing and I got charged with this? Oh my gosh, wasn't that BS? And now you look on the other hand, right? You look on the other hand and see what happened to George, or Perry, as the family knows him, right? And to say like, he's not here with us. And then on that other side is all that energy that you're finding. You're finding that there's been a lot of support then for you and for the family.
I love people. I do. I love black people. I love Caucasian people. I love blue people. I like the little midget standing in the back of the room right now. It's waving at me going, hey, And every time I say that, somebody says, there really is a midget in the back of the room. No, there ain't no midget in the back of the room. I just like saying that. I like midgets. What I know is this, is one of these days, whenever we look around 30 or 40 or 50 years from now, and we see people playing in unity, we see people communicating and not arguing, not fighting, not discriminating against somebody because they're tall, they're short, their car, their hair, their ethnic background, their gender, where they're from. You can always remember the day George Perry Floyd died, because we remember the space shuttle, we remember 9/11, we remember Desert Storm, and I guarantee you'll always remember the day that George Perry Floyd Jr. changed the world. And of course, you'll remember the uncle that that kept pounding, because I got a pound, man. I got a pound. Got a pound. Got to keep it going. Got to keep it rolling, because if you don't, I'm not gonna let anybody forget this. I can't, man.
And how would that be to have such a year, such a last summer as we had, and then to let it go anywhere we forget it would be a tragedy. I would think a tragedy just up on par with any other tragedy is to not learn from it. Would you say? You go ahead.
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just gonna say, where would you tell people to focus their energy right now? People have this energy, and those that want to do good. Where should they start putting that attention? What should they go out and start doing?
You could lie to everybody. There's one person you can't lie to: yourself. You start with self. Everything good in life starts with self. You have to know who you are. If you're that person that want to go start a group, hey, go start a group. If you're that person that want to dance, to help the movement, dance. But you got to do something, because closed mouth. This is what my mama said: closed mouth don't get fed. And people that don't open their mouth or don't express themselves, it's a moot point, because you could sit and think about, what you could do to help. But if you don't make an effort, it means absolutely nothing. It's just like wanting to be on a diet and you still keep putting that fork to your mouth. Guess what? You ain't gonna lose no weight if you don't if you don't start. So
you've been watching my mealtime. What's going on?
Hey, man, you know what? I'm trying to get you streamlined like me.
Yeah, I'm trying to follow you.
Trying to get you streamlined like me, man. Every time I look in the mirror, I think, boy, you're ugly, but you're losing weight. That makes me feel a little bit better. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Well,
this ain't ugly and fat. You know what I'm saying, man? This ain't
well,
ugly and fat.
I got to go back. Go back to when you said, don't judge anybody, even but even me. So with what we got coming up with the podcast and the show and all the things that we're going to be focused on, I think it's going to be a great way for people to get involved. I know that for those people out there who have passion, who have energy, and they want to turn it into something, that's what we're looking to do with the conversations that we're trying to have, right? And the way we're going to be having people join.
Mm-hmm. We've got to have conversations. We're going to have some of our friends. We're going to have some of your friends. Hey, maybe we can have some people in the chat box come and join us, because I'm not afraid. I will talk to anybody. I am Robo Uncle.
You can see down here at the bottom as well, we've got some of the ways that you can contact as you want to get involved with what's going on and kind of join our community, the Selwyn Jones podcast community. You can get us at Twitter at Selwyn Jones 929. Hop over to Facebook, Selwyn Jones 929 as well. And we're setting up just different ways that you can be a part of the show and that you can join in the community as well. So
if nothing else, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your time and listen to the real story by a real uncle from a real man that perished in the middle of the street for no other reason than to change the world. That's how I look at it. I want to say he died for us to change the world, to make the world better, instead of dying because he was a black person or a blue person. He died to help the movement, to help us change the world for racial equality and justice. That's from Uncle.
Thank you, Selwyn. I know it's a big day and a busy day, and it's great to be with you for it too. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and keep tuning in. We're coming. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.